She stood in the doorway, suitcase gripped tight, her gaze fixed anywhere but on me, as if the courage she needed might be hiding in the cracks of the floor. When I asked her once more who she was leaving with, she opened her mouth and spoke the words with a coldness I didn't think she was capable of. She said it was my ex. No hesitation. No shame. As though she were telling me something as ordinary as the time of day. The silence that followed felt heavier than a scream, denser than 1,000 lies, and in that moment, I felt something inside me break. But instead of shouting, instead of begging her to stay, I said only two words that carried every ounce of betrayal, every drop of finality I could summon. Have fun. And the way her self-assured smirk faltered told me everything. She hadn't expected that. She wanted a scene, yelling, tears, anything to turn her betrayal into drama that justified her leaving. But all she got was silence and those two words, sharp as a verdict. She turned and walked away, pretending confidence, pretending this was easy, laughing too loudly into her phone, probably to him. I stayed in the empty house, my mind spinning through every moment of our years together. The gradual unraveling. The late nights at work that never made sense. The way she'd roll away from me in bed. The perfume that didn't belong to her. And I realized this wasn't a sudden betrayal. It was only the mask finally slipping. So while she thought she was walking out with all the power, I was already setting my plans into motion. I didn't rage. I didn't beg. I became patient, precise. Love may blind a man, but betrayal sharpens his sight. That night, instead of drowning in alcohol or despair, I sat at her laptop. I synced her emails to my account, copied her chat history, and uncovered everything, their tickets, their plans, their fantasies of a future without me. Every secret they thought they'd hidden, laid bare on the screen. And with each word I read, the anger inside me cooled, hardened, became something colder and more controlled. Because I realized then, the best revenge wouldn't be loud. It would be quiet, meticulous, and perfectly timed. So while she was away, lost in someone else's arms, I drained our joint accounts into my own, gathered undeniable proof of her affair into a folder I called Memories, and sent it straight to my lawyer. And I began, piece by piece, to build the life she thought she had stolen from me, but stronger, without her in it. I decided to start over on my own terms. When she came back a few days later, tanned, smiling, almost too radiant for someone who had just been on a simple trip, she found the locks changed. Her key no longer worked. A box of her clothes sat neatly on the porch, along with a letter that contained nothing except a printed copy of her messages to her ex and those same two words, have fun. I signed it like a final verdict on our marriage. She called, screamed, pleaded, even broke down crying, but I never picked up. My silence said more than any fight ever could. Months went by, and word reached me that her ex had disappeared the moment things got serious, leaving her alone. Her affair had wrecked her job, and she drifted from bar to bar looking for someone to listen, but by then I had already erased myself from her life like a ghost. I rebuilt myself from the ashes she left behind. The best part was that she never got closure. There was no dramatic argument, no last confrontation. My two words, have fun, became the echo in her mind, the line she replayed again and again until it turned into a haunting reminder that she had traded love for lust and lost everything. From afar, unseen, I knew I had won. Not by holding on, not by shouting about betrayal, but by letting go so completely and so quietly that it cut deeper than anger ever could. That was the real twist, that she never knew when I started preparing, never knew how much I had discovered, and never realized that the game she thought she was playing had ended the moment I chose silence instead of a fight.